Hello there, I'm Kaz. I thought that I would have a lot to talk about regarding the development and history behind this title, especially given its popularity. But there's a surprising lack of information surrounding it. Mario Luigi Superstar Saga.
Essentially, it was based on the design for Paper Mario and Super Mario RPG, with Shigeru Miyamoto as one of the producers, but that's about it. The same goes for the developer. Alpha Dream was responsible for a few titles before this, but nothing worth noting, and have done very little outside of the series that they made famous since 2003. I guess I could go into detail about the unused beta sprites of many famous Nintendo characters in the game, or the comedy contest with Kathy Griffin, but that's really stretching it. Some staff members of Alpha Dream were from Squares, so there is that. Might as well not drag this out any longer and jump right into Mario Luigi Superstar Saga. The story begins at the Mushroom Kingdom, where an ambassador from the BeanBean Kingdom wants to strengthen the ties between their kingdoms. It turns out this was all a ruse by the devilish Cackletta, who steals Peach's voice. The Mario brothers soon find out about this, head over to the castle, only to find out that Princess Peach's voice has been replaced with explosive dialogue. So Mario, Luigi, and Bowser, who was planning on kidnapping her at the exact same time, of course, set out for the land of the BeanBean Kingdom in order to get back Peach's voice. It's a silly premise, and the writers knew it, cranking out some truly chuckle-worthy lines and hilarious writing. Absolutely drop-dead hilarious writing. A complete riot. I should just leave it at that, as going into detail about what makes it so funny would be explaining the joke. And as the Joker once said,
"If you have to explain a joke, there is no joke!"
The saga to Superstar Saga is absurd, ridiculous, and over the top, and could not be any more enjoyable. Top that off with some solid writing, one of the best Mario villains, and her overrated sidekicks Mustard, and you've got a game filled to the brim with chortles. As for the gameplay, Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga is the successor to Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars. What? No. This is the true successor to Super Mario RPG. It's a top-down action RPG with puzzle elements thrown into each dungeon as you explore the BeanBean Kingdom. Throughout the game, you'll learn techniques for both solo and the bros, starting out with the high jump and spin jump and working your way up to some more advanced techniques. These techniques are often used to solve puzzles and do play a minor role in combat, which we'll get into in a moment, but speaking for the puzzles, they're actually quite clever, gradually becoming more difficult as you learn more techniques, but never to a point where you'll be dumbfounded as to how to solve it. They tend to remain on the easy side. On the field, enemies will appear instead of random encounters, and if you hit your opponent first, you'll deal some damage before the first turn. Now for the combat. Combat isn't recycled from Super Mario RPG like it is in the Paper Mario series, but rather builds upon a solid foundation. On your turn, you'll choose from a set of attacks and an enemy. With each attack, different timing is required for each button prompt. Jumping needs to have the attack pressed before hitting the enemies, hammers when they shake, and hand attack when they're charged up. Both Mario and Luigi attack the same way, but both use different buttons, Mario using the A button and Luigi using B. When your opponent's turn begins, you can dodge their attack or in some cases, counterattack if you perform the action at the proper time. This is the main reason why it is in many regards the true successor to Super Mario RPG. Whereas the Paper Mario series would replicate the same combat as Super Mario RPG, partially due to the fact that the first Paper Mario was a reworked sequel to Super Mario RPG, Superstar Saga takes the concept of an active battle system and pushes it to a new level, making for some of the most engaging battles of any RPG. Being able to hit your opponent with a powerful blow and not let them land a single one on you is a complete blast. And that's just the solo attacks, folks. There's also bro attacks, unique to each brother, where Mario and Luigi will team up and you have to press the respective buttons in order to unleash a powerful attack at the expense of some bro points. They're fun to pull off and can become more advanced after pulling them off a certain amount of time successfully, but they're usually not necessary for anything but the boss battle since Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga is really easy. I was surprised replaying this to see how low the difficulty was for this game.
Wait a minute. When did I start wearing a watch?
It makes for a good introduction to the RPG genre if you're not familiar with it. It's certainly one of the more entertaining ones out there, especially for the Game Boy Advance, but it really is far too easy to give anyone but the most inexperienced players any sort of challenge. It's not the fault of the combat itself, it's that there's very few enemies that require you to react quickly. They're all very slow when it comes to them attacking you, and they give you way too much time to dodge or counterattack, even with two characters to control that are being attacked at the same time. Also, many enemies have similar, if not the exact same attack pattern, making battles a bit too simplistic and over far too soon. Same goes for the boss battles. While some are creatively designed, they're often far too easy and over far too quickly. This is the sole gripe that Mario Luigi Superstar has, and while it is disappointing, it's not a major problem since the combat is incredibly enjoyable, if a little toothless. Besides, there's a ton to do outside of combat. Finding beans to blend, challenges for special equipment, and other secrets to discover that I won't spoil here. And like just about every Mario RPG on the Game Boy Advance, it comes with an updated Mario Bros. Arcade game. But the main attraction is Superstar Saga's Super Sweet Story Mode. Even after all these years, Mario Luigi Superstar Saga remains one of the Bros' finest outings, let alone for a handheld. And speaking of handheld, it's time for the presentation, which is very mixed. On one hand, the characters have wonderful sprite work and ooze personality out of every pixel. Hilarious reactions, impressive battle animations, and new takes on classic Mario build. Every part of the visual side is extraordinary. The environments, the enemies, the brothers, it's all pixel perfect. On the other hand, the sound design is pretty poor, even for a Game Boy Advance game. Classic sound effects like jumping sound out of place among the newer ones, and some new ones don't really have much appeal to them. And the music, well, even for the Game Boy Advance's weak sound, it isn't exactly great. Yoko Shimomura may be one of the finest composers out there and has done a lot of good work for the Kingdom Hearts series, but her compositions aren't fit for the Game Boy Advance. There are a few highlights here, like the excellent theme to Cacletta, but the rest of the music is filled with either serviceable renditions of classic Mario themes or weak new additions. And the battle theme? Oh dear BeanBean, does that get repetitive fast. This is probably the only thing about this game that I genuinely do not care about, perhaps would say dislike. If not for the amusing performance of Charles Martinet as the Mario Brothers, especially for his performance of Luigi, I would have labeled the entire sound design as more than just lackluster. On the whole, while Superstar Saga looks far better than it does sound, that doesn't make it any less, for lack of a better word, super.
And yeah, that's Mario Luigi Superstar Saga, one of the best Mario spin-offs to date, and one of my favorite games of all time.
Getting a copy shouldn't be too hard either. There's usually a few floating around on eBay that go for 20 to 30 bucks, and Mario Luigi Superstar Saga is worth every penny you pay for it.
And so ends the saga to this review. Will Mario and Luigi Dream Team top Superstar Saga and Bowser's Inside Story? Well, who knows? Actually, everybody who's not from North America would know, considering the game has been released everywhere but here. Until next time, game on, my friends. Seriously, what the heck is going on? Europe got it before us?
In his search for answers, he dug up more than he bargained for.